C'est quoi? Je dis un truc qui nous fait ban Twitch tous les deux.
Ouais, tes vacances. On n'a pas eu de ban encore, je m'en fous. Non, faut que t'attendes la prochaine paye, on a plus de 6000 subs. Il faut se faire ban juste après.
On pourrait en avoir encore plus si jamais t'étais pas un gros con. Maintenant la redstone. Bah mais... Tu vois qui c'est que tous les shots d'eau là. Top. Non mais casse-toi, non mais on est où? Mais putain.
Tu peux me le rendre. Tu peux me le rendre.
mais si tu sais pas quoi faire, va... Putain, bah va te faire foutre.
Ok, j'y vais.
Oh, y'a un problème. Comment on répare ça?
De quoi?
Y'a un Regarde, il y a une résistance.
Ça va, ça passe.
Il m'a pêché cet enculé.
J'ai pêché Terra.
Oh putain. Tiens, j'ai une potion pour toi.
Ah non, tu veux me l'acheter? Ah, le chien.
Non, comment on jette une potion?
Il veut me jeter une potion de faiblesse.
Comment on la jette?
C'est sûr, je l'ai vu dans le coffre.
On peut pas jeter une potion. Comment on jette? Je vais pas l'obliger à la boire, il est pas con. C'est pas une splash. T'as de la chance. Casse-toi, je suis encore rattaché.
Non, ça tire, le poisson il tire. Le poisson tire.
Ça mord. Carte d'exploration des océans. Non, je crois que c'est vrai. J'ai une carte d'exploration des océans.
Énorme.
Bon bah, on a... Je crois qu'on est bon. J'ai mes 3 seaux de lait, des potions, j'ai de la bouffe. Et c'est quoi ça? Affinité aquatique. Pour le casque, Link, je t'échange mon casque protection 3 contre ton casque pas enchanté. Bah oui, c'est un bon deal là.
Ça ne se refuse pas. Ça semble être une aubaine.
Bizarre. Alors, regarde le casque et je vais te mettre un casque encore plus boosté. Tiens, j'ai menti, je te redonne ton casque. Il me fallait juste un transfert.
Un fils de pute.
Mais l'important, c'est qu'on soit prêt.
Putain, tu me dégoûtes.
Casse-toi, va me tirer, mais c'est un truc de ouf, hein. T'as un bateau, t'as un lit, t'as des portes. T'as tes sauts de lait, tes potions.
Ouais,
Ok.
j'ai 3 portes.
J'ai la
C'est
carte
bien,
dans les
3
mains.
portes.
Oh, faut que je résiste à ces cacahuètes qui sont encore une fois à côté de moi trop tard.
Vous avez entendu comment il l'a mangé? Il a
Quoi?
fait... Oh. Il a fait... Oh. On dirait qu'il se gave.
Bon, on est au sud-ouest par rapport au temple. Donc comment on fait?
Ouais, donc il faut aller au nord-est.
J'étais déjà perdu et j'essaie de pas paniquer. Un peu comme cet enfant qui va devoir aller chercher au supermarché genre un produit et qui panique à l'idée de pas retrouver sa mère.
Tu t'es perdu au supermarché?
Une fois au McDonald's, j'y allais pas super souvent donc j'étais vraiment très content d'y aller. Et je pense que du coup mon état d'excitation d'y aller fait que ça s'est produit.
Déjà,
Mon père
à cet
était
âge-là,
dans la
il était
file
très
d'attente.
excité par le McDonald's.
Et je sais, mon père est à la file d'attente et je sais pas ce que je suis parti faire, mais toujours est-il que je suis parti faire quelque chose dans le McDonald's. Et quand je suis revenu, j'ai donné la main à mon père.
Et c'était pas ton père?
Bon,
Oh non! C'était un gros monsieur, un vieux monsieur.
ça m'a traumatisé de ouf.
Oh non!
Je suis vraiment arrivé innocemment et j'ai parlé à mon père et je lui ai redonné la main.
Tu lui as fait un gros bisou?
Le poutou baveux.
T'es allé chez lui et tout? T'as vu que c'était pas ton père?
Il m'a emmené faire des autotamponneuses. On a mangé de glace. Et arrivé vers la fin de la journée, je me suis rendu compte que c'était pas mon père. Je suis trop nostalgique de l'époque quand t'es enfant et que t'es mignon et que t'as pas de soucis dans la vie. Parce que j'ai repensé que j'ai donné la main à mon père. Chose que je ferais pas aujourd'hui, tu vois. Ça serait bizarre de lui donner la main.
Ce serait super sympa de lui donner la main, non?
Ouais, mais j'ai quand même 28 ans, ce serait bizarre.
Oh, si t'en as envie, tu peux, hein.
C'est trop gentil qu'un gosse il donne la main.
Lui, il a envie de faire un enfant, lui. Il a des instincts qui remontent, là. Il commence à trouver ça cool.
Ou alors c'est juste que j'en ai marre de payer des impôts et d'avoir des...
Alors que moi, il me prend la main, je fais ah, dégage, là, putain. Me touche pas.
Casse-toi là. Je suis pas le lopette là, qu'est-ce que toi là?
J'ai enlevé mon bouclier, il prend beaucoup de place sur l'écran.
Ouais, je sais, mais je me suis dit que ça pourrait nous servir si on se fait attaquer.
Mettez un com si vous voulez qu'il enlève son bouclier là. Vous êtes marrants, hein. Des petits rigolos.
Pourquoi?
J'ai dit mettez un com, ils ont tous marqué cum.
Ah, vous êtes marrant, hein.
Faut ouvrir une chaîne Twitch là. Oh, sale bâtard.
Bah là pour le coup j'ai pas fait exprès.
Plonge dans le lac de lave
Aïe.
une seconde et je te donne
Commence par me donner des 5 euros, 50 euros que
30
tu
de
me dois.
bois.
Putain, c'est pas cher payé pour mourir.
Bah, va farmer 30 de bois, tu vas voir si c'est rapide. Oh non, j'ai fait tomber mon petit cœur en chocolat.
Oh, tu prends ça comme les femmes célibataires de 40 ans. Même Malteser
T'es
cœur là.
vraiment un mytho de dire que t'as aucun truc mignon dans tes goûters. T'es vraiment un mytho.
Pardon, j'ai pas de cœur en chocolat. J'ai des oursons, des crêpes.
Le mec, il achète seulement des goûters de vrai mâles. J'achète des voitures en chocolat et des meufs à poil en chocolat.
Moi c'est des petits lus à la merde et pas rien d'autre que ça.
Je reviens pas le droit de manger des petits cœurs en chocolat.
Petit cœur en chocolat.
Des petits cœurs choco-croc.
On arrive.
Ah ouais? Oh,
Ouais.
c'était pas si terrible.
La map se dessine.
Tu sais pourquoi ils appellent ça des petits cœurs choco-croc?
Non.
Parce que ça croque.
Ouais, et pourquoi ils ont fait ça petit cœur?
Parce que c'est...
C'est
de
pour les.
l'amour.
Voilà. Ouais, attends, le temple de l'eau, je crois qu'il est ultra bénéf, il est pas dans l'océan. What? Il est là? Et on est même pas genre au milieu de la mer? Il y a du bruit de ouf. Il y a des monstres qui font des lasers. Oh, c'est quoi ce bazar? Oh! Oh! J'ai une cuillère! Ah, on peut pas miner en fait avec cette connerie.
Du coup, faut niquer tous les poissons là, c'est quoi le bordel?
Ah, j'ai l'impression que c'est ça, hein.
Faut rentrer dans le temple et tuer le boss. Et faut pas s'occuper de toute cette faune
Bah,
locale
si-
là?
Bah, on est obligé, sinon on rentre par où?
Eh, j'ai une idée, on
Et
vide le lac.
Avec
On prend
un
un
seau
seau d'eau et on vide tout. Ça va les baiser ça.
Ok, je mets ma potion aquatique et j'y vais. Je nage vite. Je nage vite.
What? What?
Je prends cher. J'arrive pas à le tuer. Il me donne un coup à chaque fois que je le tape.
Ah
Ça me
ouais, j'ai pas de
regarde
flèche.
au-dessus. Je suis sûr que c'est des blocs hyper rares d'éponges qui permettent de vider de l'eau. On est.
Ah oui, des belles éponges.
On est cuilleré donc on peut rien faire.
Bah on ira quand on aura battu les boss.
Faut juste tuer les 3 gros boss et y a pas de spawner. Ok, c'est une salle ça. Oh, je crois que j'ai un gros truc là. Oh oui, je l'ai trouvé. Ok, il fait trop mal, il fait trop mal. Il fait trop mal. Il faut frapper des poissons que lorsque les épines sont rentrées. Du coup, peut-être que si on prend l'aggro, l'autre peut taper.
Faudrait qu'ils sortent de ce cul-de-sac de merde.
Oh! C'est bon.
Oh bah GG,
Je sais
je
pas.
le surestimais un peu peut-être.
Alors maintenant, tu sais qu'il faut trouver les 2 autres.
Ah, il y a énormément de poissons ici. Ouais, c'est normal, c'est l'entrée. Logique. Putain, c'est un ouf lui.
Ah, j'en ai trouvé un. Je suis monté tellement haut que j'en ai trouvé un.
Il est nul ou
ok.
quoi lui? Bah GG. Plus qu'un.
Il va se passer quelque chose quand on va tuer les 3?
Du coup, il doit rester un bon étage. Bah, je pense que la cuillère va disparaître. Potion apnée maintenant. J'ai une porte au cas où là.
On en a plein, hein, des potions d'apnée. Oh là. Oh là, oh là, oh là. Oh là, là, oh là. J'ai... Oh, ma potion.
d'apnée.
C'est ça qui me tuait.
Je lui ai mis des hits. Il est pas loin. Hein. Il est mort.
Bien joué. On a toujours la cuillère.
C'est vrai ça.
À quoi servait de tuer les 3 boss? Le chat.
Du coup là, que se passe-t-il là en fait?
Il y a une salle de trésor avec des blocs d'or à récupérer et surtout les éponges. Par contre, je sais pas comment on fait pour sécher les éponges. Au four. Ah ouais, non mais si chez vous vous faites ça avec les éponges, elle va être morte l'éponge. Pas mal ça, petit pactole là.
Ensuite.
Il y a d'autres cubes. Tout le monde dit non. C'est pas cher.
C'est fini là. En même temps, c'était pas si dur que ça. Encore une fois, on a été vraiment à la hauteur de du challenge quoi.
Ça nous laisse le temps de enfin peut-être faire le Wither qu'on n'a jamais fait et de le combattre. Putain, on n'est pas mort. On n'est pas mort. Si tu veux un nouveau challenge de château, il y a un nouveau minerai mieux que le diamant.
Les netherite.
Faites un stuff netherite pour combattre le Wither.
C'est un truc rare hein.
Ah ouais? Bah let's go.
Je suis chaud pour du minage hein.
Ouais, moi j'adore ça. Alors en plus si c'est dans le nether, c'est original. Hein. Ok, bah déjà rentrons chez nous.
Rentrons.
Bah tu vois,
bien d'être
quand on
on n'avait pas de stress,
on s'était dit oh faudra qu'on passe le temple aquatique, on va en chier.
Et bah non.
Bah non, gros chat, on a la carte qu'il fallait, c'était pas loin de chez nous. Et en plus ça
zéro
spawn
stress,
dans
quoi.
un endroit qui est pas dans la mer.
La map est pas chargée pour moi.
Non, ouais. Attends mais il y a vraiment de l'eau en fait.
Bah je prends le bateau.
Bah ouais.
Moi ce qui me fait peur c'est que quand on est venu on n'a pas vu un océan comme ça. Hein.
Là t'es en train de revenir en diagonale.
Ouais ok.
C'est pour ça. Tout à l'heure on a fait
je trouvais ça
angle.
bizarre et on revient et à la maison il y a quoi? Il y a un gros trou. Malaise.
Ça vous est déjà arrivé d'être...
On va demander maintenant à la poule B de bien vouloir rentrer sur le terrain. Bah vous êtes
faut
où?
nous TP. Putain,
Ah j'avais oublié de les faire dormir la nuit. Vous avez tous un lit à signer.
C'est magnifique hein.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the hot?
What is this? Sand? Wait! I know this sand! This is home! Oh, how I miss it. My favorite part is the color of the... can't recall the color of the sky. Guess it's been too long, huh? Pity. I would have liked to see the skies of Ball 1 left.
Call was being hunted by his Necron guest who had recently escaped, and after stalling for time and doing some trolling, he found what he needed. "Will you not just hear me out?" he said through a cyber cherub as he used a servo skull to approach a chunky brass plaque that read Kavo 02, the metal skeleton upon which he had molded the likeness of his friend.
What are you doing? I'm trying to play Balatro, but it's not working. I don't think that's how it works. It's not like Raptor.
You wake up to your mom counting heads. 1, 2, 3, 6. Every morning, before rations, before sunrise, before anything, you used to think it was paranoia. Then you learn Catachan has a 50% infant mortality rate before age 1. Another 50% don't make it to 10. There were 8 of you once. Now you're 6. Welcome to Catachan, a planet so lethal the Imperium, humanity's galaxy-spanning empire, officially classifies it as a death world. The first colonists crash-landed millennia ago, thinking they'd found paradise. Green planet, lush jungle, looked great from orbit, but the trees started strangling people on day 1. The vines hijack your nervous system, the air itself is mildly toxic on a good day, and the fruit? The first exploratory team tried it and dissolved from the inside out. Oh, and the people? Also called Catachan. Yeah. So your dad, Corvin, is kind of a problem. Not in the bad father way, in the how do you live up to this way. The man killed a Catachan devil in his 20s, with a knife. Now, Catachan devils are what happens when nature has weapons budget. Tank-sized, part scorpion, part nightmare. Exoskeleton that shrugs off laser fire. Jaws that bite through ferrocrete. Some scientists think they're ancient alien bioforms that went feral millions of years ago. And Catachan just kept improving the design. You've heard the story at every dinner, every family gathering, every time someone new arrives at the settlement. The scar on his forearm is basically a family crest. But Corvin never actually tells the devil's story. Other people tell it. The stories Corvin tells are about carrying a wounded scout 4 kilometers through devil territory, about holding a perimeter for 3 days so the settlement could evacuate, about people who walked into danger for someone else. And then he looks at you, and you can feel the weight of what he expects. He runs the settlement, not officially, but nobody argues with a man who's been right for 20 years. The last thing that tried was a Catachan devil. And you know how that went. Training starts before you can walk. Shooting by 3, blade work by 5, jungle navigation by 7, kill or be killed ecosystem identification by 8. On Catachan, the kids who can't do this by 10 become statistics, and your father does not raise statistics. If Mother Nature has nothing to say about it, that is. One night on the perimeter, you catch 2 figures crossing the cleared ground around the settlement. A hunter from a neighboring settlement and his kid. You had heard about their settlement, was breached, and now they've got a sack of your ration stores. Corvin has the shot line. lined up. You're waiting for it. Then the man turns, and you can make out fresh claw marks and shredded gear. The work of a devil, more likely refugees than raiders. Corvin lures the weapon, lets them pass. You ask why. They stole from your people. He says, "The jungle decides who dies, kid. A warrior decides who doesn't." You don't get it, but you remember it. You're 17. You've been watching the tithe ships since you were 6. The Imperium sends food. Nothing on Catachan is edible unless you count dissolve your intestines as a flavor, and Catachan sends soldiers in exchange. The Catachan jungle fighters. Whole bloodlines shipped off to fight the Imperium's wars. They always say the same thing when they come back, easier than a Tuesday. So you watch the ships leave and think, maybe out there I'll be enough. Then a ship brings someone back. Hamar Davos. Catachan born, left years ago for the Catachan Devils. The regiment, not the animal. Though on this planet, the distinction barely matters. Now he's an acolyte of the Inquisition, basically the Imperium's secret police, except with more flamethrowers and less accountability. He's been summoned to somewhere called Bastion Serpentis in the Calixus sector. Won't say why. You're curious about the outside world and want to know, but Corvin gives you a look that says, not another word. Hamar laughs and says there's not much to tell besides rumors about violence out there that doesn't make tactical sense. He changes the subject. For a man who grew up on Catachan, that tells you everything. Corvin laughs more in one afternoon with Hamar and Marcus than he has in months. The current Imperium liaison is Marcus Venn, guardsman posted here with his wife and his 7-year-old son Tobin, who calls everything mine, including your knife. Marcus finds you watching the ships one afternoon, tells you to put in a request, says Hamar knows people. It made you feel seen. Hamar ships out 2 days later. That evening, the jungle goes quiet. Not peaceful quiet. The kind where everything, insects, birds, the wind itself, decides it's time to shut up. 3 Catachan devils hit the settlement at dusk. You're at the armory when it happens, frozen for 3 full seconds, everything Corvin was afraid you'd be. Marcus runs back for his son, knows he won't make it. He goes anyway, and he doesn't make it either. You're sprinting toward Tobin when something rolls from his pack. Pale pod, fist-sized, hits the dirt. The largest devil stops, turns around, looks at the egg. Corvin sees it, bleeding from a dozen places, lays gun in hand. He steps into its path, opens fire, full auto in its face. The devil doesn't even slow down. One arm sweeps out. Corvin hits the perimeter wall hard enough to crack concrete. The devil walks past him, picks up the egg. All 3 disappear into the jungle. They came for the egg. Just the egg. Everything else was in the way. You pull Corvin from the rubble. You're screaming at him. There's still so much he hasn't taught you. You're not ready. You're not strong enough. He grips your arm, pulls you close. Take care of the boy. You look at Tobin, 7 years old, caused all of this. You look back at Corvin. I promise. Then nothing. Comatose. Might wake up, might not. Your mother, your sisters, Marcus, 37 others. Because a 7-year-old picked up an egg. The settlement relocates 5 kilometers west. Standard protocol. Catachan settlements last an average of 30 years before the jungle reclaims them. Yours made it 19. Below average. Nobody's surprised. You keep replaying Corvin's last words. It's time to shut up. 3 Catachan devils hit the settlement at dusk. You're at the armory when it happens. Runs, looks down. All of protocol. Corvin's last words. Take care of the boy. Not, I'm proud of you. Not, lead them. Not, you're ready. Just an errand. 37 people dead, your whole family gone, and his last conscious thought was about someone else's kid. You carry that like a stone in your chest. Some days it feels like grief. Most days it feels like a verdict. You want Tobin dead. That's the honest truth. But you promised a dying man, and killing a 7-year-old orphan while your father might still wake up feels like the kind of thing you can't undo. So, you don't kill Tobin. You kill everything else. You point the anger at the jungle. First month is perimeter patrols nobody else wants. By month 6, you're clearing brain leaf colonies solo. parasitic vines that hijack your nervous systems in 90 seconds, you burn one out in 4 hours and come back with chemical burns on both arms. By year 1, you're mapping devil territory. Find the same big one that hit your settlement. Come back wearing a tooth from it. For the first time, it feels like you've found your path. People start treating you differently, the kind of look you've seen people give Corvin your whole life. You stop thinking about what Corvin said that night on the perimeter. Doesn't matter, you found the answer. Strength, that's what a warrior is. The whole settlement hates Tobin, by the way. Not subtly, kids throw rocks, adults look through him. His egg killed 37 people and nobody on Catachan has the emotional bandwidth for he was 7 and didn't know. So Tobin does the math a 7-year-old can manage. You're the one person who doesn't throw rocks. You kill things and people respect you. Therefore, follow the killer, become respectable. He starts trailing you. You tell him to stop. He doesn't. So you try handing him off. An elder, another family, anyone with capacity. He goes where you put him, shows up behind you 20 minutes later. Every time. You keep pushing him away, he keeps coming back. This goes on for days. You leave before dawn, he's already outside. You take routes through the perimeter that would kill a careless adult. He follows, tripping over roots, getting stung by everything that moves. Survives anyway, every time. Finally, you stop. Look at him. You can't abandon a 7-year-old. You can't kill him either. You promised. But you can make him wish you had. 2 birds, 1 stone. The kid needs survival skills anyway. Everyone on Catachan does, or they're dead by 10. And if the jungle handles what your conscience won't, plausible deniability. So you give him tasks. Collect venom samples from a barking toad nest. Toads explode in poison clouds when threatened. You give him a 60-second breather mask. The nest has 37 toads. Do the math. He comes back. Hands shaking, won't make eye contact, but he comes back. You didn't expect that. Years pass. You keep waiting for Corvin to wake up, to finish the sentence, to say the thing that he never said, that you're enough. He never wakes up. 7 years in a coma, and the medic finds you one morning to say he's gone, died in his sleep. No last words, no answers, just a man who spent his last conscious breath on someone else's kid. You're sitting with a body when Tobin shows up at the doorway, saying he's sorry for your loss, and something snaps inside you. You stand up, tell him to say it again, louder. Tell him sorry doesn't cover 37 people. Tell him to fight you if he means it. You shove him, he stumbles back but doesn't swing. You shove him again, harder. He just takes it. At bed because of him, and he was no better than the devil that killed his parents. Someone who should have died with them that night. Tobin hits you. 1 punch, connects clean across the jaw. You spit blood. Laugh. First honest sound you've made in years. You leave him standing in the doorway with your dead father behind him. Things settle into silence between you. Over the next few months, Tobin throws himself into missions. He brings back intel that saves the settlement twice. You say nothing. He holds northern perimeter solo for 24 hours during a vine surge. You nod and walk away. He never asks for a word from you. You're 24 and you've become exactly what you wanted. Strongest fighter in the settlement, just without the wisdom. Then the conscription notice arrives. New regiment being raised for the 3rd War for Armageddon. Tobin's on the shortlist, best scout the settlement has. You use every bit of influence you've built to take his name off. Not protection, spite. 1 last door you can slam, so he'll never get out. Never leave the planet, not while you breathe. Muster Day. You take the blood oath, red bandana, blood on cloth. Every Catachan jungle fighter swears one when they join up. The only tradition even the most stubborn Catachan treats as sacred. It means you survived the worst death world in the Imperium, and you're crazy enough to volunteer for more. You swear to fight, protect, and die for your regiment. For the first time in 10 years, you feel like you're going somewhere. Tobin watches from outside the formation. You ship out without looking back. This settlement is a grave you're standing in. They ship you off-world, 3rd War for Armageddon. Feral orcs in the equatorial jungle, your regiment calls it paid leave. Your commanding officer takes a direct hit 6 months in. The colonel looks at your kill count and hands you command. You're good at it. Hate that you're good at it, because it's Corvin's playbook. Every time it works, you hear his voice. You wonder if Tobin's still running patrols. Then you stop wondering. It's not your problem. Then the galaxy breaks. The Great Rift tears reality in half. Catachan gets hit. Demons and orc freebooters simultaneously. Every regiment recalled. You go. You arrive to find the planet already fighting. No regiment needed. When demons invade Catachan, every man, woman, and child who can hold a weapon fights. That's not bravery, that's Tuesday. And Tobin's in it. No bandana, no oath, no regiment, just a Catachan kid doing what Catachans do. The settlement militia has him running forward scouts into orc-held sectors, the same suicide runs you used to send him on, except now he volunteered. Month 2 of the defense. Tobin's squad goes dark on a forward sweep. Orc territory, comms cut. Your military officer reports them as presumed lost. Good riddance, that's the first thought. Honest. Ugly. 10 years of waiting for something to finish your work, and the orcs did it instead. You should feel relief. You don't. So you grab your kit. Your military officer says you're insane. You tell him to log it as reconnaissance and force. Plausible deniability. 1 last time. 2 days solo through orc-infested jungle, you find what's left of the squad. 3 dead, 2 wounded, and Tobin, gutshot, still holding his weapon, aimed at the door like he's daring the jungle to send one more thing. You carry him 4 kilometers through hostile territory. same distance Corvin once carried a wounded scout through Devil territory. The story you've heard 100 times. Funny how that works. Medic says he lived. You sit outside the tent. 10 years you wanted this kid dead, and now you ran through 2 days through Orc territory to stop it. Tobin opens his eyes. First thing he sees is you. You feel relief, actual physical relief, and it scares you more than the Orcs did. Because there was never a version of this where you cared whether this kid lived. So you deflect. Tell him his recon report is 3 days late, and if he's going to almost die, he could at least file the paperwork first. He laughs, you don't. 2 weeks later, an Orc offensive hits the eastern line. Full wag! A demon breaks through the eastern perimeter, headed for a kid, some settler's child no older than 5. You don't think, you step between them. You kill it. Then an Orc round catches you from your blind side, through the lung. You know what that means. Every Catachan does. Tobin appears, drops the Orc in 2 shots, but there are more behind it, already pushing through the breach, and he can't fight them and carry you. You both know that too. You put Marcus's tag in his hand, then the bandana. Take care of the kid. He looks at you, and for a second neither of you says anything, but both of you understand. Then you shove him and the kid behind you, telling them to run. He calls you Dad. First time, last time. The last thing you hear is him running. The last thing you feel is the trigger. 3 months later, Catachan wins. Always does. Tobin goes back, runs the settlement now, does the morning head count, tells recruits stories about a commander who carried a gut-shot scout 4 kilometers through Orc territory. And when someone asks what makes a true warrior, he says the same thing. The jungle decides who dies. A warrior decides who doesn't. Now, speaking of you were born screaming on a backwater agri-world where the biggest threat was drought and the occasional crop failure. The kind of place where everyone knew everyone's name and nobody locked their doors, because what was there to steal besides bad grain and borrowed hope? Your parents died when you were 6 in a pirate raid, the kind of random violence that hits backwater worlds when someone with guns decides your planet looks undefended enough. The village raised you after because that's what communities did when a child had nowhere else to go. You had your own little group too. Kale taught you to fight with sticks and told you stories about being brave. Mira made you laugh when the nightmares came, when you'd wake up crying about faces you couldn't quite remember anymore. Tomos followed you everywhere like a devoted shadow, calling you his best friend before he even knew what that meant. Then the vision started. Actual visions, not dreams or intuition or lucky guesses. You'd see tomorrow's storm 3 days early, next week's accident while eating breakfast, that collapsing barn before it collapsed with just enough time to pull the livestock out. At first people called it luck, then instinct, then they started noticing patterns that made them nervous. You learned fast that survival meant hiding it. Growing up, you'd heard stories about psychers, people born with warp powers, who could see futures or move things with their minds. The stories always ended the same way. Psychers attracted demons, and demons killed everyone nearby, so you pretend